Okay, December 31st. December 31st, 1862, Abraham Lincoln signs an act that essentially enabled admitting West Virginia as a separate state. So, West Virginia, for a couple of years, since basically Virginia had voted to secede, there were about a third of the counties in that western portion that weren't supportive of secession and wanted to stay with the Union. So, they formed a separate government, set up all their stuff, and voted to leave Virginia and stay with the Union. So this is a really interesting problem because the question was, could that happen? And even at the time, Abraham Lincoln, number one, for a long time had said that the states hadn't seceded, that they were in rebellion. So they had no constitutional basis for leaving the Union. So they hadn't left. So now he's allowing essentially part of a state to stay with the Union and another part to leave. And so it's a bit of a dichotomy in terms of his thinking, his legal thinking around this area. At the time, even some of the senators in the Senate said, okay, we're not sure we can do this constitutionally, but if it's a military necessity, then we'll do it under the military rights. Because of the Civil War, we need to keep the Union and keep that part of the state and keep the resources and the people in that state part of the state. So they allowed it. This issue went to the states or the U.S. Supreme Court a couple of times around the issues of whether or not it was legal the way they did it. They separated off the state, and there was a process by which states became states, right? The territories, as you get into the Virginia or out into the Utah territory, all that stuff. There was a process by which states were added to the Union, and that was kind of gotten around in the case of West Virginia. So this went on for a long time, and it wasn't until the early 20th century that the state of Virginia actually recognized the state of West Virginia. So at any rate, scholars today, as I'm looking around and reading more and more stuff, still think that it probably wasn't legal. It probably wasn't constitutional. But by this point, it's settled law. So West Virginia is going to stay a state. But anyway, just an interesting sort of constitutional conundrum during the Civil War. So that's what I have for you today. I will see you tomorrow.